we're here. We are with Ace. What amazing story. So I want to say welcome to you, Ace, to El Show Internacional and Wire TV from LA. And I just have a few questions for you. What are the recommendations to fly in different lands?
They're fine. It's when you go to other countries, you also have good accommodations, just like the hotels we have over here, the Wyndham and the the embassy and so forth. So the accommodations in foreign countries usually are quite comfortable.
Had you ever flew in the Bermuda Triangle?
Oh, many times, Paula, many times, yes. As a matter of fact, I had an incident in the Bermuda Triangle at one time where we came very close to going down. But the Bermuda Triangle is actually, I think it's maybe a conspiracy theory more than anything. But it's an interesting conspiracy theory that a lot of people like to talk about.
Where can we find your book?
Ah, yes, it's available. Actually, it's available right here in Burlingame at Books Inc. in downtown. It's available in San Carlos at both at the Hiller Aviation Museum and at the San Carlos Aviation Supplies. Those are three quick places, and it's going to be for sale at the hotels over here on the other side of 101. All those many hotels where the airline pilots stay. Of course, it's also available online. You can go to my website www.therogueaviator.com, and from there you can order the book, or you can go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble, preferably Amazon. That's the best source. And it's also available as an ebook at all of those many places that sell ebooks. So if you want a $6.95 ebook instead of a softcover book, purchase an ebook through Amazon.
What is the most memorable flight you can highlight of your career?
I would say it was probably when I was going across the North Atlantic in a Learjet, and we nearly ran out of fuel. Although a very close second was when I had to fly Bob Marley, smuggle Bob Marley out of Kingston, Jamaica. There were people down there trying to kill him, and they sent my company down to get him out of there, and that was pretty interesting because that was my first exposure to the Rastafarian culture. And it was pretty exciting.
What is the difference between a commercial and private flights?
Well, the private flights, if you're referring to the private jet, now the big difference is you don't have to go through airport security. No TSA, number one. Isn't that nice? There you go. But more importantly, it's just much more comfortable. You have your own space in the airplane, and you don't have to worry about baggage falling out of the overhead on you. And if you can afford it, it's the only way to go. And I did spend 8 years flying the private jets, flying the rich and famous and wealthy in a private jet. And if I sell enough books, what I'm going to do is I'm no longer going to ride on the commercial airlines. I'm going to ride on the private jet.
What are the recommendations to fly in the North Pole, like in the tropical zone? Because I'm from the tropical zone, and I'm going to tell you that when you go into South America, the weather sometimes is very, very rough, and it's scary. So.
That's exactly right, Paul. And the big thing about the tropical zones is usually afternoon thunderstorms will blow up between noon and 4 o'clock, and sometimes when those thunderstorms are over the airport, you simply can't land. It's just too dangerous to land with the heavy rain and crosswinds and lightning and so forth. But but that's usually a temporary thing. It's not something that prevents you from going to the destination. But as far as flying over the poles, North Pole, South Pole, you have to have the newest, latest, sophisticated electronic gadgetry, GPS, and some advanced navigation to do that. But there's if you're going to San Francisco, for instance, to maybe certain parts of the Far East, you'd go almost over the North Pole, believe it or not. That's kind of strange, but it's what they call the Great Circle Route, and the Great Circle Route is the shortest point from A to B, and sometimes that Great Circle Route is not the line that you see on the map of the whole world. It's a big curve. Today's airplanes have advanced technology which actually makes it easier to get the airplane on the ground, easier to land, because they can do what they call coupled approaches with the autopilot. And the autopilot basically flies the airplane right down to the runway. You know, out here at SFO, very often when the marine layer is in, as we call it, London pea soup fog, sometimes the visibility is not much further than across the room. The airplanes, most of the airplanes can actually land in that weather because of the advanced computerized technology where the autopilot basically flies the airplane right down to the runway.
So can we be reliable on technology right now? Can we be like trust the technology, or you think it still we need pilots with experience and knowledge like you to land?
I think, Paul, the technology, there's not too much further the technology can go. However, the experienced pilots plays a critical role in aviation safety, and unfortunately, there's going to be a reduction of experienced pilots in the not too far distant future because the major airlines are losing a lot of their senior pilots as what they call aging out. You know, they're getting to the maximum retirement age, and there's going to be a real shortage of pilots. So that's a concern for across the board for aviation safety. The only thing is today's airplanes and today's air traffic control system is much more glitch free, if you will, and much safer across the board. So even though in many cases the pilots might not be quite experienced, in most instances, hopefully the technology will offset the lack of experience of the pilot.
Okay, the last question. What is the message that you want to communicate to the public with this book?
Oh, I wanted to tell the public that all pilots are not overpaid and underworked prima donnas. There's an awful lot of pilots that work on the other side of the tracks, if you will. And my book's subtitle is In the Back Alleys of Aviation, where those pilots work in very demanding, difficult circumstances for low pay.
How is the security overseas for you guys?
Security is fine. Oh yeah. No, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's not a problem because of course the doors have the steel reinforcement, so that's not a problem. And some of the pilots, as you know, have their own guns, which I have mixed emotions about that. But they have their guns in the cockpit. But basically, as far as getting on the airport, everyone still has to go through security through TSA. There's no shortcuts there, although the TSA is in the process of revising their rules and regulations that will allow certain people, the pilots and flight crews, to have what you might call a quick dash through, where there's minimal inspection compared to all the looking through all the baggage and pat downs, which they do. When I came out here, I had a pat down that was just it was awful. As we all know they can be. Sometimes those TSA guys just lose control on the pat downs, if you will. You've seen that.
Well, it was very nice to meet you, Ace, and then we wish you good luck, and then continue with the success. And he's the best to tell us the story today. He has been doing this for 36 years. So you're a successful pilot because you made it. So you landed. Thank you so much. There you go.
Nice talking to you, Paula.
Nice talking to you. Thank you. Bye-bye.